Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Underworld, starring Kate Beckinsale, Scott Speedman, Michael Sheen, and Bill Nighy, and directed by Len Wiseman. Now, before I get into this movie, I remember going not opening weekend, but the week after in movie theaters to see this movie. But what did I think of it then? I remember loving it, but will it be the same when I review this movie? Let's get into it. A sexy vampire death dealer named Celine, played by Kate Beckinsale, has a mission to slay the Lycans, aka werewolves, and spots a couple while they try to get Michael, played by not Michael, that's his name, played by Scott Speedman, who's a human the Lycans are hunting down, and for what reason, I don't really know. But they have a train fight with two of the Lycans, and I don't know the name of one, but the other one is Ray's. And I know that for three reasons. One, he'll be in the third film as the same character, but with a bigger part than here. Two, because the guy has such a deep, menacing voice. And three, he's the writer of the series and another movie I'll review after this series called I, Frankenstein. And he also created the Blue Marvel, which he wrote for Marvel Comics. And this writer's name is Kevin Grievous, who I'm sort of a fan of because of his voice. And this train fight was fine, but if I were to be honest, why do they need Michael? And more importantly, who are these characters? Because I don't know without knowing who these people are, including Lucian, played by Michael Sheen, who leads the Lycans, and the movie does a very poor job of explaining who the fuck these characters are. Craven and another character who is not as but sort of important in the movie, Erica, played by Sophia Myles, because I've reviewed her before in Transformers Age of Extinction, but I'll explain why she's sort of important a little later on. This movie explains its plot as it progresses, and I'm not a fan of let's tell the plot later as the movie progresses. Just tell it at the beginning. Why Lucian is after Michael to begin the story, because the way they say it here makes no damn sense. Celine breaks into Michael's apartment and asks him why the Lycans are after him, and he runs away and gets to the elevator until Lucian gets to him and bites his neck in order to get the blood, or his blood, and become one of the Lycans. And remind me, why did she take him in after he was bitten? Oh wait, I know why. Because Lucian stabs Celine at one point because she gets away and Michael saved her life from getting killed, which doesn't make any sense because she saw the biting he will eventually turn into a Lycan, and yet she brings him to the mansion, which, oh my god, this is terrible writing right off the fucking bat. As he was unconscious, as well as while she sees Craven, Erica sees Michael was bitten by a Lycan. That's what made her important to the movie and causes him to go to get the hell out of the mansion. And why does this movie cause so many fucking problems? Bringing a becoming Lycan into a vampire mansion. Meanwhile, Craven is working with Lucian. Why? This movie raises more questions than it answers, and I hope they will explain it in Rise of the Lycans. I'm not 100% sure. Celine grabs a book on how to make the owner of the mansion, Victor, played by Bill Nighy, come back to life and manages to do so, as it gives the audience more problems than it makes them solve it. Michael comes to the mansion, and Celine picks him up to take him to a safe place where he can't be found by anyone. And the movie is so stupid, they just make problems that may never get answered right away. And like I said before, I hate that. As Celine comes back and she talks with Victor about her beliefs, with Craven and the Lycans as she's taken into custody of Craven to decide her fate in the Vampire Covenant, and this dialogue is cringeworthy to the point I can't believe the writing. And the Lycans kill some people on the train because they don't matter. And the CGI looked a little cartoony. And Erica lets Celine out to Michael which is the stupidest betrayal I've ever seen in any movie. Victor lets himself off some wires, which has got to be a painful thing, but the acting is bad here by Bill Nighy, who I usually like as an actor, but he's overplaying it here. Celine gets Michael out of the room, and two cops arrest him because he's a wanted man, of course. One cop, as he's transforming into a lichen, turns up the music up so loud it makes him transform even more, and one cop suggests to pull over, but he's like, fuck him. Let him suffer. And they do end up pulling over eventually and stick a needle in him. And what a dumbass excuse for a scene. As the lichens capture Michael, while Celine proves Craven is not a good leader. And I lost my shit with this movie because it makes no goddamn sense. And they either don't give you the answers here or ever at this point. This is a very silly movie with a very stupid plot, and that makes no motherfucking sense. When Victor punches a lichen out to his death, I checked out at this point. We get these flashbacks for half the movie. What are these flashbacks, and what do they mean? Maybe it'll explain in the Rise of the Lycans as well, fingers crossed. The Lycans are blown up while Craven and Lucian have a meeting, and Craven shoots Lucian, and the vampires are at war with the Lycans, and Reyes turns into a Lycan to fight off some vampires, while Celine, among others, tries to go find Michael while Victor kills a Lycan, and Craven shoots Michael and tells Celine Victor was the one that killed her family, as Lucian stabs Craven in the foot and tells Celine to bite him in order to save his life. That doesn't make sense. So he'll become half vampire, half Lycan, Michael will, and Craven shoots Lucian dead as Victor tries to kill Michael, and he turns into a, what's this word? The Vamlican? Whatever. Like, let's call it their Vamlican. Whatever the hell. Fuck it. Let's call it, therefore, it's half vampire, half Lycan. And I'm not going to say that again, because and I'm not going to say that again throughout the next movie. And the Michael versus Victor fight felt very choreographed half to death, as Michael is almost killed until Celine slices Victor's head in half. That's how Celine and Michael win the night, and Marcus is awakened, and his brother's death, and as a climax, it was a bullshit way to make a sequel. Talk about loving it to hating it. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 1.9 out of 10. It has a stupid plot, very stupid plot, and it was made into a silly movie as the acting was bad and the CGI was terrible, and I don't know anything about these fucking characters, and I don't like them. They better come up with the better answers, or we go on, or else this series is not going to be worth it. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with Underworld Evolution. And until next time, I don't know anymore.